Around the World in 80 Days, the story of a bet that takes place between Mr. Phileas Fogg and some gentlemen from the Reform Club in London. Quite a dusty scene where people say, I don't think you can do it, and he says, I definitely will. So that's what kicks it off. A man who previously has never left London suddenly decides on a mental whim to just try and go around the world in 80 days.
Yeah, it's that kind of dogged Britishness, that kind of, yes, we can do this, regardless of any kind of mishaps that might happen, we can get through it. And I think that's the great drive about it, is that whatever happens, and he has a servant, Passepartout, who gets into all kinds of scrapes, as Mike does in real life, and but we carry on. You know, we've got our goal, and whatever happens, we keep going. And I think that's got the great kind of energy about the show.
And this is without Google Maps and without WhatsApp, train messenger, and stuff like that. You know, this is just one copy of the Bradshaw, a massive thick book with timetables of every single form of transport in the world.
Yes,
which existed, didn't it?
It did, yeah. And because at the time, a lot of the world was ruled by Britain, good or bad. There were timetables, and you could get on a train in Britain and know you could get to India. There is imagination involved, and kids are brilliant at imagining things. But we actually physically bring them into the show as well, and Mike plays with the audience, literally, you know, has fun with them. So they all, I think, you know, you can buy into it very quickly, and it's very, very fast-paced, and lots of comedy. There's also lots of allusions to film, because it's really filmic, isn't it? And so there are lots of kind of fights and great kind of adventure stuff, and it is a great adventure story actually. I mean, there's a love story through it, but I think for kids there's a lot of action, and they feel involved. A lot of things that kids can do as well, you know. But being in the show, kids can get involved, and things are happening left, right, and centre. There's always something to keep your eye on, whether it's happening close to you or on the other side of the stage, or it's just really, really fizzy. You know, it kind of, there's a fantastic structure to the story, which is beautiful and really crystal clear. So the story's not difficult to comprehend, but it's how we tell that story. How do you do a journey on an elephant? How do you do a journey on a ship, and then a train, and then back to a different type of ship? And and there's a lot, I suppose, in terms of that. It is very childish. There's a lot of play. So the boxes and coats become weird things, and you know, you do have to bring that kind of child's mentality to it. And I think that's why adults like it as well, because they kind of become kids a little bit as well.
Yeah, even in the fights, it's that kind of cartoon violence where ridiculous things happen, and then at the end of it, everyone stands up and they're all right. So it's gentle, but it's very detailed.
Yeah.
And watching kids leaving when we did it last year, kids leaving the car park, doing some of the things that they'd seen, and that's really joyful. You know, I got that watching Karate Kid and BMX Bandits when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then when you leave the cinema, or you go out to play, you're going to play what you've just been seeing. And I think that was the real testament, you know, that kids said it was for us, and we didn't really have to tell them that, they just got it.
Yeah.
Have a look around the room, there's boxes, trunks, cases, railings, parts of bits of ships that could be parts of ships, could be a balcony. And each of them objects, it's not just a case of walking onto the stage and putting them down. How they move in the space is really important to the storytelling. If you're moving something in India, it's got to have a different feel than if you're in Brindisi, or if you're in Italy, or anywhere else. Every single place that we go to has got its own temperature and humidity, and hopefully we convey all of that by how we're moving things. So kind of every single object that gets moved, to some degree, requires a bit of puppetry, because it's still telling the story, even if it doesn't go, what did you say? Oh, I don't like you, you like you. It's not, balconies don't talk in that way. Hope they would.
One day they might.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as well, you know, it's that, because of that detail, you do really feel like you've gone around the world. Loads of people said that afterwards. You know, oh God, we just felt like we'd gone to all these places. And I think it is because Teresa, the director, makes sure that everything has a reason, you know. So we do, like you say, when we go to India, it feels like you're in India, not only with the music and the lights, but the way that people, the ensemble kind of work and react to each other, and the languages.
And then clear guidelines as well, having a very clear narrative where everything is defined and very precise. That also allows a lot of the playfulness, because you've got something to bounce off, you've got something very gettable, and then if you do pull the rug or the rules get changed, or you know, something quirky happens, which is one of the delightful features of this show, that things like that do happen, that it's live, things are going to go wrong anyway. Not drastic, no one's ever been killed, no one's died in the making of the performance in any way at all. But yeah, things go a little bit quirky, and because it's in the round, the audience pick up on it straight away, and that can become its own joyful thing, you know. That's the kind of circus, clowning, silly element to the show, which sometimes it's difficult to create something so precise that can allow that. but I like the fact that it exists.
It'd be good if people they could sell tickets for backstage, for kind of around the round, because people are tearing around, putting on hats, taking off jackets, and even that is timed so precisely. So there's as much sort of thought about how you get from one place to another, or what character you are, as there is on stage. And I think again that kind of creates that energy. But again, you know, there's a lot of time spent on even the smallest kind of characters, because it's important, because we are trying to go around the world and show to people that, you know, what these different cultures were like. Maybe sometimes through a kind of Victorian British eye, but you know, there's still a lot of detail on that. And it's just great. It's great to watch and be part of. Like you said before, there is a kind of fizz to that. There is of that kind of energy of swapping from country to country, and the feel of motion as well.
And the company, just as an ensemble, if somebody says, oh, we could do with something like this, 4 people turn up and help create it, you know, that there is a real shared ideas thing happening, which is lovely. Everyone kind of knows what everyone else does, you know. You can kind of feel where everybody is. It's like a shoal of fish,
yeah,
you know.
And
we
especially
don't bump into each other often.
No, but I mean, especially because of, you know, we're on ships often, and so we spend a lot of time, we're rocking, and we're all rocking, and you've all got to be rocking at the same time, and so there's an ensemble, you know, you have to be together on that, because if you're not, there's one person going the other way, you know, what ship are you on then, you know? But so that there's a lot of, even though me and Mike only play one character each, we're all in this together, and there are lots of scenes where we're all having to do the same kind of thing to make it work and to make it read.
It's good in the kitchen when we're having a tea break. One person starts swaying, and it's funny.
You do,
everyone
you just
starts
start.
doing it. Everyone's got it, then we clicked in. Yeah.